Hwanghae Island, Yellow Sea. 2:51 p.m., broad daylight, clear skies, visibility unlimited. 14 U.S. Force Recon Marines. One classified mission, inserted onto a restricted North Korean island to verify intelligence about a hidden underground weapons facility. A facility the world had no idea existed until today. The Marines found it, documented it, transmitted the evidence directly to U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. Then North Korean security forces closed in. 180 soldiers, 25 vehicles, attack helicopters holding overhead, no need for searchlights. The afternoon sun lit everything perfectly. Kim Jong-un received the call in Pyongyang and gave the order himself. Capture the Americans. Don't let a single one escape. Execute them publicly at sunset. Broadcast it globally. Show the world what happens to those who violate North Korean sovereignty. North Korea's plan was airtight. 14 Marines, trapped, outnumbered 13-1, stranded on an island with no exit. Public execution scheduled for 6:15 p.m. Maximum propaganda value. Global prime time. But Kim Jong-un made 5 catastrophic miscalculations. 1, those 14 Marines were Force Reconnaissance, the most elite operators the Marine Corps produces. 2, they had already identified and prepared a defensive position on the island's northwestern cliffs before the alarm ever sounded. 3, USS Bataan, carrying 1,800 Marines, was sitting 38 nautical miles offshore. 4, 7th Fleet had already greenlit a full combat search and rescue operation the moment the distress call came in. 5, the President of the United States was watching the satellite feed in real time and gave 3 words: bring them home. What unfolded over the next 3 hours and 22 minutes became the most audacious Marine rescue operation ever executed in broad daylight, and the single most catastrophic military embarrassment in North Korean history. This is that story. Hwanghae Island, 31 kilometers into the Yellow Sea, officially uninhabited, officially unremarkable. But satellite imagery told a different story. Massive underground excavation activity, abnormal power consumption signatures, trace radiation readings, heavy equipment movements at irregular hours. CIA assessment: North Korea had constructed a covert nuclear weapons assembly facility beneath the island. Underground, hidden, operational. Satellite photos weren't sufficient evidence. The world needed documentation that could justify action, sanctions, international pressure, or something far more direct. At 11:15 a.m., 14 Force Recon Marines departed USS Bataan aboard 2 vessels disguised as commercial fishing boats. Daylight insertion, hiding in plain sight. Mission parameters were clean. Land as fishermen, locate the facility, photograph every detail, collect soil samples for radiation analysis, extract by 3:45 p.m., 4 hours on the ground, in and out before afternoon shifted toward evening. Team leader, Captain David Reyes, Force Recon, 7 combat deployments, specialist in denied area infiltration. We land at noon, 3 hours max on target. Find the facility, document everything, collect samples, and we're back on the ship before the North Koreans finish their afternoon shift change. Simple. At 11:58 a.m., the Marines landed on Hwanghae's southern shoreline. Flawless insertion, civilian clothes, fishing gear as props. They moved inland immediately. Thermal suppression underlayers beneath civilian jackets, suppressed weapons concealed beneath fishing coats. Deliberate, professional, invisible. At 1:52 p.m., they found it. Reinforced steel blast doors built directly into the island's central ridgeline. Ventilation stacks, industrial power cables running underground, guard posts, security cameras on rotating mounts, and the readings that confirmed everything. Radiation signatures consistent with weapons-grade plutonium processing. Captain Reyes transmitted immediately. Jackpot. Underground facility confirmed. Heavy security presence documenting now. Radiation detected. This is exactly what the agency said it was. The Marines photographed every angle, every detail, every access point. Soil samples collected, evidence secured and sealed. At 2:22 p.m., documentation complete. Mission success. All elements rally at Bravo. We're going home. At 2:28 p.m., everything collapsed. A routine security patrol passed through the area. A camera caught the glint of American equipment in direct sunlight, An alert guard noticed something that didn't fit. Cover blown, alarm triggered, sirens across the island. Within minutes, 180 North Korean soldiers deploying, 25 military vehicles fanning out, heavy helicopters circling overhead, naval patrol boats launching from the island's eastern harbor and encircling the coastline. The Marines ran for their extraction point. North Korean forces cut them off before they reached the beach. This is Hammer 6. We are blown. Approximately 180 hostiles converging on our position. Extraction point compromised. Moving to alternate. We need support now. USS Baton's response was immediate. Hammer 6. Extraction boats are pulling back. Island is too hot to approach. Find a defensible position. We are launching rescue. Hold on. At 2:41 p.m., the 14 Marines reached the island's northwestern cliffs. Natural rock fortifications, elevated sight lines, ocean dropping 90 feet straight down behind them. No approach from the rear. Limited frontal attack corridors. Captain Reyes assessed it in seconds. This is where we make them bleed. North Koreans want us alive. They need us for the cameras. That buys us time. The fleet is coming. We hold this ground until they arrive. Fighting positions established. Claymores placed, fields of fire overlapping. The position was as strong as 14 men could make it in 12 minutes. At 2:51 p.m., North Korean forces completed their encirclement. 180 soldiers, heavy weapons visible in every direction, vehicles blocking all land routes, helicopters orbiting overhead. The North Korean field commander spoke over loudspeaker in clear English. American Marines, you are completely surrounded. We can see every position you hold. It is the middle of the afternoon. I assure there is nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. Your ships cannot reach you. Your aircraft cannot land. Surrender immediately and you will receive prisoner of war status. Continue to resist and you will not survive to see the broadcast. At 3:09 p.m., fresh orders arrived from Pyongyang. Kim Jong-un was watching via live feed. His reaction was fury. 14 American Marines had infiltrated North Korean territory, located and documented a classified nuclear facility, and transmitted that evidence to the American military, all in broad daylight. His order was precise. I want every one of them breathing when the sun goes down. Capture them. We execute at 6:15, live broadcast, international feed. Show the world what happens to American spies on North Korean soil. At 3:22 p.m., the assault began. Infantry advancing under covering fire. Machine guns suppressing the cliff position. RPGs launched at the rock face. Everything visible, everything loud. The full weight of 180 soldiers directed at 14. The Marines returned fire with surgical precision. Controlled bursts, prioritized targets. Every round placed deliberately. North Korean soldiers fell, but more kept coming, wave after wave. At 3:47 p.m., Captain Reyes transmitted a priority update. We are in sustained heavy contact. They're using non-lethal suppression, tear gas, flashbangs, rubber rounds mixed with live fire. They want us alive more than they want us dead. That's the only reason this position hasn't been overrun. Ammunition is holding, but we have a ceiling. We need extraction in 90 minutes or this gets very difficult. USS Baton's response. Hammer 6. Rescue package is in the air. ETA, your position 5:20 p.m. Presidential authorization confirmed. Air assets inbound ahead of main force. SEAL elements already moving. Hold that cliff. We are coming. 90 minutes, 14 men, 180 North Korean soldiers. The math wasn't comfortable, but the Marines had one advantage no one on the other side could calculate. They knew exactly what was coming. At 4:02 p.m., North Korean forces shifted tactics. Tear gas deployed across the entire cliff position, smoke canisters, chemical irritants designed to blind, choke, and force the Marines out of their fighting holes. Masks on, weapons up, fighting continued. At 4:21 p.m., the field commander broadcast his final offer. American Marines! Sunset is in less than 2 hours. That is when you die on camera for the world to see. This is your final opportunity. Surrender now and live. Force us to take you by fire, and none of you walk off this island. Captain Reyes keyed his radio. Every Marine on the island heard it. USS Baton heard it. The Pentagon heard it. We are United States Marines. There is no version of this where we surrender. There is no version where we retreat. If you want this position, you are going to spend more soldiers than Kim Jong-un can afford trying to take it. Tell Pyongyang his secret is already gone. The evidence is transmitted, the facility is exposed, and 12 rescue packages are already in the air. Send everything you have. We'll still be holding this cliff when our brothers land behind you. 4:28 p.m. USS Bataan, 38 nautical miles west. The rescue force had been assembling since the first distress transmission. What launched was not a rescue operation in the conventional sense. It was a combat invasion designed to extract 14 men and destroy everything that had tried to stop them. The package: 18 MV-22 Osprey aircraft, 360 Marines, full combat load, 10 AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters, 4 F-35B Lightning, 2 fighters running air superiority and close air support, 2 Navy SEAL teams in high-speed insertion craft already approaching from the south, 2 destroyers repositioning into naval fire support corridors offshore. Mission Commander, Colonel Brian Tatum. Iraq, Afghanistan, 6 classified operations. His brief was 40 seconds. 14 Marines on a cliff. North Korea wants them dead on camera at sunset. That does not happen. We land on the opposite side of that island, cut off their entire force, destroy the nuclear facility, and bring our people home. Nobody stays behind. Move. At 4:36 p.m., 4 F-35s crossed into North Korean airspace. Fast, low, weapons hot. 8 GBU-53. Stormbreaker precision bombs released on North Korean vehicle positions surrounding the cliff. In the clear afternoon light, the explosions were visible for miles, trucks disintegrating, artillery pieces obliterated, command posts erased. 20mm cannon fire followed, strafing runs across the North Korean infantry lines. At 4:41 p.m., 10 AH-1Z Vipers arrived over the island's coastline. Hellfire missiles tracked and destroyed the patrol boats that had been maintaining the naval blockade. Hydra rocket pods unleashed on infantry positions on the slopes below the cliff. The encirclement was breaking apart. At 4:45 p.m., the 2 SEAL teams hit the island's southern beach. Daylight landing, fast and deliberate, establishing the southern anchor of the encirclement. At 4:51 p.m., 18 Ospreys appeared over the horizon, visible from miles away in the clear sky. Every North Korean soldier on the island saw them coming. They didn't land at the cliff. They landed on the island's eastern side, directly behind the North Korean line. 360 Marines off the ramps in under 4 minutes. Machine guns up immediately, mortars set. Carl Gustaf recoilless rifles in position. The assault began before the North Koreans could reorient. 14 Marines defending from the cliffs. 360 Marines attacking from behind. The hunters were now encircled. At 4:55 p.m., the destroyers achieved fire solutions. 5-inch naval guns opened up. Mark 45 gun systems targeting North Korean reinforcement convoys attempting to reach the island by sea. Bridges hit. Harbor access cratered. Every resupply route severed. At 4:59 p.m., the North Korean field commander transmitted to Pyongyang. Command, we are under massive assault. Americans landing on multiple positions. We have heavy casualties across all sectors, requesting immediate reinforcement and air support. Transmission ended. His position took a direct hellfire strike. At 5:05 p.m., Captain Reyes received the call. Hammer 6, this is Rescue Actual. 360 Marines are on your island. Enemy lines are collapsing. Air superiority established. SEALs holding the south. You are no longer surrounded. Move to primary LZ. We are taking you home. Reyes looked at his 14 Marines, 2 hours and 37 minutes on that cliff, holding against 180 soldiers, and every one of them still standing. Marines, you just held the hardest position on this island for 2.5 hours against everything North Korea could throw at you. Now we're not extracting, we're attacking. We're going to walk through what's left of their force, destroy that facility on the way out, and fly home. Move. At 5:14 p.m., the combined force, 374 Marines total, assaulted the underground nuclear facility. C4 charges on every blast door. Thermite grenades dropped into ventilation shafts. Fuel-air explosive packages placed in the main access tunnels. At 5:26 p.m., detonation sequence initiated. The island's central ridgeline erupted, underground detonations propagating outward. Secondary explosions triggered by the facility's own stored materials. ventilation stacks belching fire into the clear afternoon sky. The blast visible from the destroyers offshore. North Korea's secret nuclear assembly facility, years of construction, hundreds of millions of dollars hidden from every satellite and intelligence service on Earth until this afternoon, collapsed into itself and burned. Gone. At 5:33 p.m., all Marines and SEAL elements loaded onto Ospreys. At 5:38 p.m., the last aircraft lifted off Hwanghae Island. F-35Bs made final suppression runs. Destroyers fired terminal bombardment on remaining defensive positions. At 6:15 p.m., the exact moment Kim Jong-un had scheduled his global broadcast execution, every American operator had cleared North Korean airspace. The cameras were ready. The satellite uplink was prepared. The world was waiting. Nothing aired. 14 Marines trapped, 0 killed, 0 captured. 5 wounded, all recovered. North Korean casualties, 143 dead, 71 wounded. Nuclear facility destroyed. Field commander killed in action. Total time from compromise to full extraction, 3 hours, 22 minutes. Here's what Kim Jong-un got wrong at a fundamental level. The moment those 14 Marines transmitted their evidence, the mission was already complete. Everything that followed, the encirclement, the 180 soldiers, the helicopters, the scheduled execution, was just North Korea spending lives trying to undo something that couldn't be undone. You cannot untransmit intelligence. You cannot unexpose a secret. You cannot execute men whose brothers are already wheels up and inbound. Kim Jong-un had numbers. He had terrain. He had a plan with a broadcast time. What he didn't have was an understanding of what Force Recon Marines actually are, or what the United States military does when 14 of them are surrounded on an enemy island. It sends 374 more. That's not a rescue. That's a demonstration. North Korea controls islands throughout these waters. They build underground. They hide programs. They believe distance and secrecy protect them. After Hwanghae, they know something different. Marines will find it. Marines will document it. Marines will destroy it in broad daylight if necessary. And if North Korea tries to stop them, hundreds more will arrive before sunset. 14 infiltrated. 180 tried to hold them. 374 came to bring them home. Facility gone. Evidence transmitted. Mission complete. You don't threaten Marines. 2:51 p.m. Kim Jong-un orders execution at sunset. 6:15 p.m. 143 North Korean soldiers dead. Nuclear facility destroyed. 14 Marines home safe. The broadcast never happened. The secret is gone. The evidence is in American hands. And North Korea learned the lesson that every enemy of the United States Marine Corps eventually learns. You cannot capture what Marines defend. You cannot hide what Marines find. You cannot execute who Marines rescue. 14 held the line. 374 finished the mission. This is Hwanghae Island. This is Force Recon. This is what happens when you threaten U.S. Marines.